maybe I should make a video in 2018. You know, really just killing the YouTube game. Last year I made an attempt to do favorites videos on a quarterly basis, so at the end of the year I would have a spring, summer, fall, and winter favorites video. The problem with that concept is that, for one, seasons in Illinois do not have like definite beginning or end dates. So I found that all of last year I was making like a late spring favorites and a late summer favorites because it just wasn't, the seasons just weren't changing. So it was like June by the time it was spring. So to avoid that this year, I am still going to make quarterly favorites, but I'm just going to make them every 3 months or so and not associate them with the season. They're just gonna be whatever I'm into, and we're gonna roll with that. We're gonna just bring it down another notch, keep this casual, and we'll get right to it. So to start off with skincare, Illinois is in our like pre-spring phase. We are still in like 35-degree weather and it's still cold and windy and dry and awful. So moisturizing has been key. I just feel dry and gross all the time, and this lanolin lotion has been a lifesaver. This is Lano Hands by Lano Lips. They start off being known for their lip products but have migrated into other lotions. And all this is lanolin and lemon oil. It is totally natural product. That doesn't matter for me as much. I just care that it works. But for those of you who want more natural products in your life, this is one of them. And it is just hands down the best hand lotion I've ever used. You take a tiny little dab. It doesn't take much at all. Rub it into your hands and it's instantly absorbed. Like, instantly absorbed. You don't feel like it's thick or goopy or greasy or anything, and like I put on hand lotion and now I can't use my hands for the next 10 minutes. Like, it's just a miracle product, and it's so moisturizing. It leaves your hands really nice and soft, and this goes in my bag everywhere I go these days. So if you've been watching my videos for a while, you know that I am kind of beholden to the L'Oreal Cushion Foundation, and I'm still in love with that foundation. It's my favorite foundation that I've ever used. That said, I've been looking to switch it up because I'm going through it too fast. I have been needing to buy a foundation like every 3.5 weeks. It just doesn't last long enough. And I've done the trick where like you flip the cushion over and you flip it back, and I use more full coverage of my face, and so I use up more foundation, and therefore I'm just going through foundation faster. It's like I need to not be spending 12 bucks every single month on foundation when I could just buy a bottle of foundation that's gonna last me 3 to 4 months. So that is the backstory as to why I switched up my foundation, and I wanted to try the new Maybelline Superstay 24-hour like long-lasting foundation. I heard really good reviews about it. Tati Westbrook loves it, and I love her, so we're gonna give it a shot. And I like it a lot. The only qualm about it is that I bought the wrong shade, so I'm actually not wearing it on my face today. You would think that this would be good, and I was basing the color that I bought off of the Maybelline Fit Me foundation that I've bought previously, and I was so sure, guys. I was 100% positive I was Natural Ivory. That was my color, and it is so too dark. It is too dark. So I am gonna hang on to this bottle, and I will be definitely using this a couple months from now when I have a little bit more color. Not that I get super tan, as we know, I'm a white little ghost, but I will have a little bit more color in my face. So the goal is to save this bottle for a couple months from now, and I am going to purchase a new bottle that's a little lighter that will be more appropriate for me now. I really like the formula. I worked a long day at work the day that I tried this out, and I was really thrilled with how long it lasted, even though it was the wrong color for me. You know, so I was like, don't like that my neck is a totally different color than my face, but my face is still all on, so that was good. And yeah, I want to kind of play with it in different applications, you know, wearing primer or not primer, but so far I really like it, and I really love that it is a pump applicator. You don't find that in drugstore foundations very often, and like the applicator and the packaging is really, really nice too, if that matters to you. But yeah, so far it's a favorite. Whenever we get new beauty products in at work, we're always obsessed with trying them, and that was the case with this lip product. This is the Pinch of Color Healthy Lips Waterless Lip Oil in Berry Bite, and this looks super dark in the tube, but it is actually what I'm wearing right now. And guys, I'm obsessed with this. Oh my gosh, you don't even understand. I'm gonna put a little more on just because I love it so much. We tested all of the colors. There's one that's a pretty sheer nude, one that's a little more of like a lighter pink, and then there's this berry color. I love it. I'm so obsessed with it. I put this on and all of my coworkers turned to me and were like, wow, that's so pretty. and they all bought it. I'm throwing it in front of me. Every time I wear this, I get compliments. I literally have cleared out all of the other lip products from my bag except this, which says a lot because I'm the kind of girl that usually has like 6 different lipsticks and lip glosses in my bag, but I don't feel like I need them because this is so great. But what's the best about it is it's not just a lip color, it's a lip treatment too. So reading it, it's a hydrating lip oil that is formulated with a hint of color and natural oils such as apricot, macadamia, avocado, rosehip, and vitamin E. It's also fragrance-free, cruelty-free, and vegan. So I feel like this is kind of the best of all worlds in a lip product, and I am crazy about it. Can you see it? It looks great. I had to zip it up so I could properly show you, but it is an asymmetrical ribbed moto jacket that has this really fantastic like diamond pattern with the ribbing in the back. It is so soft and comfortable. It's by Bordeaux, and it is just the softest. I'm just like holding it. It's the softest fabric I've ever felt in my life, and it's super flattering on, goes with everything, and I love like structured jackets made of soft material. I'm wearing one today, so basically it's the only kind of jacket I own anymore, but this one in particular, I'll be wearing this well into spring, and it's a really good transitional piece for the in-between seasons that Illinois has, as we've discussed. For accessories, this little necklace has been a favorite. I have been so into like delicate gold necklaces for ages now, and this one from Anthro is just so freaking pretty. I don't know if you can see it any better this way, but I like it against the dark green. I've been wearing it with blue, but it's just got these blue and kind of turquoisey stones in it. It's just got a little bit of sparkle, but it's, you know, not too flashy, so I can wear it with something casual like this, but I could also totally dress it up with like a bigger earring. And it's just a really nice, pretty piece. And I like the blues and the greens, and just is bringing in these like oceany spring vibes. So I'm feeling it these days. Would it be a favorites video if I didn't have a candle to talk about? I don't think so. And today I have 2. This one, let's just admire this pretty jar for a second. This is by Capri Blue, but it is not the classic Capri Blue volcano candle. This is the coastal candle. Also, let's just feel the vibe right now. Let's look at this Afghan throw. Let's look at this necklace. Let's look at this candle. I am just full on blue-green heaven at the moment, and I'm digging it. Capri Blue in the past just has not made some of my favorite candles that we've carried at work, but this one, I just smelled it and I needed it. It's such a light citrus scent, but it's not too overwhelmingly like this is an orange at you citrus, and it's not too light like this is citrus, but it's also mixed with like florally or like bathroomy smelling citrus. Like there's a fine line with citrus, and this just hits all the right notes, and it's just really light and fresh and pretty. And this jar just sealed the deal for me. Like the fact that there's a glass lid as well. I just want to have it sitting out forever and for always. Now, in my last favorites video, I mentioned last year's spring Boulangerie candles, and this year's spring Boulangerie candle is also my favorite. This is a brand new scent. I've never had it before. It is Apricot Chantilly Cream. And guys, it smells like a creamsicle. It's a creamsicle, but it's not too overwhelmingly sweet. It's because of the apricot. Like, it's not an orange creamsicle, it's an apricot creamsicle. And because it's like a Chantilly cream, it's a little more subtle. It's not like in your face like sweetness. It's just so light and so fluffy. I just want to eat it up. I have a home decor line that's been a favorite, and I have recently been browsing the infinite delight that is Living Spaces. Why did no one ever tell me about Living Spaces, guys? Maybe this is a new company that I just have never heard of. But guys, it is all the West Elm CB2 glorious vibes for so much less money. I can't even get over it. I first heard about it through Mr. Kate. She did a design versus design challenge video, and they were using Living Spaces as their sponsor. So I was like, sure, I'll browse furniture for no reason on Living Spaces. And guys, I'm at a loss for words. There's a daybed on there that is this glorious upholstered daybed that I want so badly because I've always kind of wanted a daybed. It's like beautiful, like couch vibes, and it's like cheaper than an IKEA daybed that I was looking at, and I can't get over it. It's so beautiful. There are these mid-century modern couches that are like less than $1,000, which is not existent in the rest of the world. They have beautiful lamps and decor. Like, it's just stunning pieces. And yeah, the prices are top notch. And I was thinking, like, this has to be a too good to be true scenario. But I was pouring through reviews, and every review was just like, yeah, this is a good quality piece that I've had for months and I'm obsessed with it, and it costs so much less than it should be cost. So I was like, hey, I won't argue with it. So if you are in need of, you know, a new couch, go on Living Spaces. I'm crazy about it. I'm already like making like a future home shopping list now. Is that weird? That might be a little weird, but we're doing it, so. I have a favorite book, which I'm actually really excited about. I've been kind of in a holding pattern in life where I haven't had time to read for my enjoyment in a while because I have been in school and have not, you know, been able to read for me. But I'm very stoked that I read The Princess Saves Herself in this one by Amanda Lovelace. This is a poetry book, and the way I got this book is really adorable in and of itself. My boyfriend and I went to Target and were browsing books, and FYI, I do recommend browsing for books at a bookstore. My town does not have a bookstore anymore. All of our bookstores closed. So we were at Target browsing for books. Just kind of decided to like pick out a book for the other person that neither of us had ever read, and just kind of on a whim like look at a cover and decide like, I want you to read that. And he picked this book for me. It was so adorable. We're such a cute couple. So it's a collection of individual poems that can each stand on their own, but they weave together and they tell a story. And it took me a little while to get through it. I realize it's a thin book, but there are kind of heavier poems about abuse and death, and yeah, it was a heavy read for a moment. And so I needed to kind of put it down, take a step back from it for a while. But I'm really glad that I jumped back into it because it's really good once you plow through it. Just know in advance that like there's some heavier content. It's not all fun games, but at the end of the day, like, poetry is meant to make you feel things, and it made me feel some things, so love it. So I have a few movies to discuss, which is kind of weird for me because I really don't go to the theater very much. So being like, oh yeah, I've been seeing all of these movies. I've been discovering the joy as an adult of renting films from the library and getting them on DVD and watching them in the comfort of my home at my own leisure. So that's been really great. Support your local libraries and do that if you wish. But like, I have The Darkest Hour sitting over there. I've been kind of trying to get the Oscar nominated films and trying to get those watched. But I just saw as well Get Out. The reason why it took me so long to see it is because I had just heard that it was like Guess Who's Coming to Dinner turned horror film at the end, and I was like, well, why would I really want to see that? The original Guess Who's Coming to Dinner was fine. So I put it off, and then I started listening to more interviews and podcasts that reviewed it, and then it kind of got into my skin. I was like, I need to see this movie. So then once it won, you know, best screenplay at the Oscars, I was like, all right, like, it's time. Like, so I rented it from the library, finally saw it. It's really good. It's just a good film that I feel like everybody should see. It's not nearly as like blood and gore horror. It's much more like psychological creepy horror, which I can totally get behind, but it also has a lot of comedy undertones to it. So I feel like he's really, Jordan Peele has kind of delved all these genres into one movie, which I can kind of get why people were struggling to define the movie, and I think that made it a little hard to advertise, which is why it maybe didn't get as much play in the first run as it should have, but really well-made film. I liked the soundtrack to the film a lot. There was some really good creepy music combined with like gospel choir type music, and like it's just very interesting sounds that contributed to the overall vibe of the film. But I really liked it, so I'd recommend seeing Get Out if you wanna. Really good at recommending movies. See it if you want. My other favorite film I saw this summer in the theater, but it just came out on DVD and I just got it, and it was just nominated for an Oscar. It's Loving Vincent. Guys, oh my word, this movie is just the prettiest film I've ever seen. So good. It is the world's first completely hand-painted movie. Somebody I was talking to was like, isn't that just like rotoscoping, which is where like you film a movie in film first and then like draw over the screenshots of the, what are they called, frames? that's film term. Technically, yes, you could classify it that way, but each frame is hand painted in the style of Van Gogh. So it is like you're walking into a Van Gogh painting, and it is incredibly done. When you learn more about the creation of this film, it's like every 10 seconds took like 6 months to do because the paintings just take that long. And the craftsmanship that goes into this is just insane. The story it's telling is of a friend of Van Gogh's who wants to figure out why Van Gogh killed himself. And so he's traveling to the place where Van Gogh died to talk to people and figure out the story of his death, and then it reveals the story of his life. It's a really well done story, but each character in the film and each setting in the film is based off of actual people Van Gogh painted and actual places Van Gogh painted. So sometimes they'll like flash to the next scene and that still is an original Van Gogh painting, and then you'll travel through it, and it's just brilliantly done. And I am so mad that it did not win Best Animated Picture, and I know that you're all gonna tell me that Coco was more culturally relevant, and I hear you, I feel you, I understand, but this movie's better. My favorite podcast that I've been listening to is Larry Wilmore, Black on the Air. It is so funny and so well done. I love Larry Wilmore. I've liked him since he was on The Daily Show. I loved his show, The Nightly Show. I wish that The Nightly Show had been able to continue through election season because, oh my goodness, why did they cancel that show? But regardless, his podcast has been really excellent. He kind of starts off each one just sort of recapping current events and giving his opinions on them, and then the second half of the podcast he's interviewing somebody. Sometimes it's really politics heavy, sometimes it's totally not. The last one he did was just talking about food and traveling and eating at restaurants, and so it's like, hey, that's a light podcast, but everything he does, even if it's a heavy subject, he manages to make it kind of digestible and easy to understand. He asks really good questions. He's just a great interviewer. So anybody he's talking to, he kind of digs in and really gets the guts of the subject that he's talking about. So I really enjoy his podcast, and I think you should all listen. And last but not least, I always like to share somebody who is making videos within this beauty, lifestyle, fashion community on YouTube, and I wanted to share Ari Fitz, and more specifically her channel Tomboyish. I think Ari's content is amazing. She does really cool work on her main channel, but Tomboyish is such a cool project that she's been working on that is more associated with a more androgynous style, which is not something that you see very often on the internet. Usually the girls in the beauty community are very LA, very, very feminine, and to see somebody who doesn't wear a lot of makeup and who, dresses in looser baggy clothes, wears menswear combined with women's wear. Her fashion sense is just really unique and a different side of this community that you don't see very often. So I'm a big fan of her videos. They're also just very well produced and well made, so I'm a fan of that too. But also she has started the Dear Body Project on Instagram, where people can take photos of their bodies and write letters to their bodies, and it's a different side of the body positive community that isn't really, it's not a voice that's been heard as well defined as it is. This isn't making any sense, so you just kind of have to go over and look at it. But people's letters to their bodies, it's not like body positive just in terms of like the plus size community, I think is what I'm trying to get at. It's every type of body is represented through this, and it's just a really cool movement where people are just kind of able to acknowledge their bodies for what they are, and I'm really into that. It's a difficult thing for me to do personally, so maybe that's why I'm really into it, but it's a good thing, I think, for people to see, and really great representation, and you should all check her out, and I will leave all the links to that jazz below. 2018 has been a little hard to get rolling into, but I'm working on it, and I hope you enjoyed this, and I've missed you, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!
We're not bruised, they're just body tattoos, and that colorful mess is just colorful crap. Black lipstick will never be a sin, we'll regret it when we're old.